and never have any kind of, there's no rules, and especially if it makes you feel good, I mean, and doesn't hurt anybody, you know. Although I have a couple songs that people who are listening to them bobbing their head don't realize that they're the villain in the song. So that's another fun thing to do, cloak it in metaphor and just be like, oh no, that's not about you. I don't know about you, Freak, but I also really like writing stuff down. I know we have the phones and they're so wonderful to be able to capture something while you're driving down the road. I used to have one of those old tape boxes where I'd press play and record going down the highway, or the little handheld ones, to get ideas, because I do get a lot of my ideas when I'm driving. But I still love having a pen and paper. And I also have something called a songwriter's rhyming dictionary. And then I don't know if you have that, but it's a great book. And I know not every song has to rhyme. There's no rules, but the Songwriter's Rhyming Dictionary is a really cool book, and it's got all the, I don't know what rhymes with onomatopoeia, but it might have it in there. But
Nikki, I will tell you about that about the keeping the pad. I have this book called Songwriters on Songwriting, and it's like each chapter is a different. There's Neil Young and Paul Simon, all these people talking about their process, and so many of them say, "Yeah, I always keep a little pad in my glove box and write these things down." Then there's Willie Nelson. It shows that everybody's got a different formula. Willie Nelson said, hell, I've driven from Nashville to Oklahoma City and I have a songwriting idea in my mind. And if I can't remember by the time I get to Oklahoma City, like maybe, like if so everybody's got their different interpretation. And he's had a pretty good career as a songwriter too, so.
Yeah, and if he can remember anything.
Yeah. Willie's remedy.
Yes. But yeah, and I don't know, I'm curious to see, I'm interested, maybe this will be like my last song, and if you want to do another, we can. I wouldn't mind hearing some of your ideas and the way you guys write, so we can steal ideas from you. Just kidding. But this song is about my daughter, and again, I never dreamed I'd be writing a little song. And again, there's lots of themes that you've probably heard when I sing about building castles in the sand. And of course, it was Jimi Hendrix, and so castles made of sand. But that's what I hear, but it's not. This is not that song. Anyway. Sun is bright, sky is blue, the birds are singing as if they knew. See, go to the chapel and okay. Sun is bright, sky is blue, the birds are singing as if they knew you were mine. Yeah, you were my blue-eyed girl. Oh, I was a king of my own dreamland, and you helped me build my castles in the sand when you were mine. Yeah, you were my blue-eyed girl. My blue-eyed souvenir, you're mine. Yeah, my blue-eyed girl. My blue-eyed girl. My blue-eyed girl. Oh, my blue, you're my little blue-eyed girl. Thank you. And that song did have a bridge in it, and that's what's so fun for people who are backing up songwriters too.
Blue-eyed girl just fell.
Oh, yes, she did. You saw her. But yeah, like songwriter, you know, a lot of the jams that you'll find when you're going around here, they're not songwriter jams. A lot of the stuff is around the lyrics and the words, and so sometimes you'll go to a chord only once, and that happened in the bridge. And I'm telling you what, some of the best players are the best listeners, and they know what not to play. And you know, I find a lot of what's fun about stuff like bluegrass and old time and stuff like that style of music is there's a lot of pretty, you know, the structure's pretty much there, and so everybody can kind of hang together, and it's a little more relaxed. But the verse, chorus, bridge, and even the chords, you know, like 1, 4, 5, you know, things like that, make it easy. And accompanists for songwriters have the hardest jobs because there's some things that are really based on the lyrics. And, you know, and you got your fiddler over here going like, I'm not listening to what you're saying. Like, just give me the song structure, you know? So sometimes it's kind of tricky, but I will tell you this, like people who, like John Mylander, who is an extremely talented fiddler and violinist, he listens very, very lovely and then sprinkles the beauty, but yeah, it's a yeah.
I want to have a question. How many songwriters are out here? People who have attempted or have written songs. Raise your hand. Awesome.
Everybody.
Awesome. That's great. And you know, we're not experts, but I'm curious. Do you have questions? Anybody else have a question about the process?
Or a declaration? Like if there's something that you find that's one of your favorite ways to write, or what's your formula? Just curious. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you have a problem making yourself go to your instrument and write, is there some way you can talk yourself into doing it?
I try not to force it. However, we're busy human beings. Our lives are busy, and so when that muse strikes you, you don't get to just put your turn signal on and pull up the interstate and hit the hazards and get your guitar out and be in the moment. You know, your life continues to move. So I try not to force it, but at the same time,
If I continued to wait for inspiration, maybe once a year something would hit me.
Yeah.
And I know there are more songs in there, but somehow the concept of talking myself into sitting down, I guess I'm afraid of sitting down and having nothing come out that I love.
yeah. Well, a lot of times I will learn other people's songs that I hear. I'm like, that sounds really cool. And just like, there was like a David Crosby, Stills and Nash song that I was listening to, and I really liked it, and I learned it because it sounded so complex to me, but it was a very simple finger chord. It wasn't any, but it made me want to write a song around that chord. I would just say, like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, learning other people's music and go, oh, that's why it sounds like that. It just goes to that G to that A or the B minor there. That's cool. And then I find myself playing other people's music. Really, you just kind of take little pieces of your catalog, and you know, you take that snippet of that John Prine song and put it with that Joni Mitchell tune, and then like, oh, that Jason Isabel little hook, you know, and kind of.
I would say if you're like working on a song and you just get stuck, and it's like I'm getting nowhere with this. Maybe it's good just put it down, walk away, okay? But don't throw it away. Don't throw away any of your ideas. I mean, you may find something there that you will use later and be glad you did. And something else that I learned, I went a year and a half ago, I went to a songwriting workshop at the home of Daryl Scott, who is a brilliant musician. And he hosts this thing called Song Food. And you're there with like 12 other people in his living room talking, learning, ideas and crafts. And he would have everybody go around and play something that they had written, and he would make a critique. And one of the things that he would do, he would say, it's not a bad song, but why don't you put it on, capo it up three frets and try it again.
Yeah, just a different voicing.
Change it to a different key or different tempo and stuff. Sometimes the song wakes up. It's like trying to find where it wants to be. So I definitely say, keep yourself open to all of that sort of stuff.
Tunings too.
Yeah.
Just like a drop D. I mean, it's not a harder. It's not not the big intricate, but it just has a different sound. And I've definitely written and dropped. It feels like something. Or even if you play guitar, grabbing a ukulele, like you might. It's a smaller, simple version, but you hear it differently. I wrote the song about going on a sailboat and peeing all over everybody on the ukulele. And it sounds weird on the guitar to me, and I've written stuff on piano and banjo too that they don't live in other instruments. They have to be, but yeah.
Yeah, I find, I've often felt like people who write songs from piano, feel like they've got a wider range of melody available to them. Sometimes I don't play the whole neck on a guitar. I'm limited in what I can do, so I try to mix up the chords so it doesn't sound like the same 3 chords over and over, throwing a bridge in there. But how many people have seen the documentary on HBO, Billy Joel? It was so good. And he comes from a classical background, playing classical piano. His father was a classical pianist. His brother is a conductor of an orchestra in Vienna. I mean, and his songs have I always thought they just had a different musical quality than most rock and roll songs you hear. And I'm always drawn to that. I always thought Paul McCartney had a wider range of melody. I mean, but I sometimes realize I don't have the musical talent to do what Billy Joel maybe does. But that's them. You find your own lane and you go with it and trust in what you're doing.
Yes. I'm so sorry to be late. I had to work and I was hoping my computer wouldn't work. So if I missed something you've already said and I'm re-asking it, sorry. I just took a little class with a friend in Pensacola, and I don't want to be like this great songwriter or anything. I can play the guitar a little bit, I can write, but I found it really hard to put lyrics to music, even though I sing all the time and make up stuff for my dog all the time. So, taboo or not, I'm just gonna say it out loud, but I threw it all into chat, and it gave chords and it gave everything. I mean, it didn't give the whole melody and it didn't sing the song, but I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that. So that's one. And then the second one is that, what comes first for you? And if you said this, I really do apologize. Does the sound, I mean, you kind of just mentioned that, the sound come first, or do the words come first for you?
Well, I definitely, it's varied. I mean, sometimes I will hear a chord and I want to, but the lyrics to me are the theme that kind of happens in my head, but sometimes it all at once. Sometimes it's all at once. Sometimes the lyrics are like, ooh, I want to write a song around that. Or I'll hear another song and I just love the nature of the chord progression and I want to work on that. So it for me, it's varied on that. With the, I still am in the organic. I understand why you would want to use the chat thing just as a tool just to see how how it's jumbled, looking at the answer key at the end of the puzzle and going, oh, that's how it could be. I don't feel threatened by that stuff because I'm gonna live organically my whole life, and I don't make a living play. And I understand how strange it is. I did get duped by an AI artist. I was someone had shared something on Instagram, and I was like, this voice, why don't I know this person? And it's like, because they're not a person. And I looked them up, and the first thing, it was like, meh, not real. And so it was weird. It was almost too good, you know. And I felt very duped. I definitely knew I could hear like a processor on this vocal that I was like, maybe raise my eye. But I think if you're just still like learning and you're not hurting anybody, and you're looking to see a pattern on how those lyrics fell with the music, I don't see any harm in that. I mean, everybody's got a different process, and you know, if you do get rich quick from it, throw me a bone, girl. Like,
you know, I usually it's a chord progression that all of a sudden your ear likes, or a phrase that you think, oh yeah, that's a good phrase, like too hungover to cry.
Yeah.
And you kind of build a song around that, okay? Or at least you build the beginning of the song, and then sometimes you sit back and you go, all right, where am I going with this? And you know, and it helps once you may start with a kernel of an idea, but don't know what the song is going to be about, and hopefully that'll reveal itself to you at some point along the way. Go, okay, this song isn't really about, you know, these shoes. It's about something bigger. It's about, you know, a divorce I went through, or you know, the birth of a child, or losing my job, or whatever, you know. But once you know what the song is about, to me, then it's like a puzzle, putting the pieces together, doing it that way. So, yes, sir.
Yeah. First of all, coming to this festival for 26 years is what got me going, and bringing that musical out, because I've worked at a business on that stuff. And so being in these surroundings has gone, I can't even begin to explain, but the first serious song I wrote was, I was hanging around with some friends in Suwannee, and we were up in Tallahassee. And I'd been a widower about 3 years. And we're sitting around, and everybody's kind of doing like you do out here at the gym festival. Everybody's doing their little thing. And all of a sudden, somebody says, hey, look, it's a strawberry moon. We ran out onto the deck and watched the strawberry moon come up. And it was such an emotional thing, because it was the first time I felt life. No, there's plenty of joy, there's plenty of this, plenty of that, and that stuck in my mind for about a year or so, and then finally it started to come. And I'll share a little bit of it first, but the moon was so red, the stars still ahead, but I really shone. My heart rose with that strawberry moon.
Aww.
Yeah.
And then it started coming, you know, it just coming. But I can't say enough about how this festival, hang around jamming and listening to people like you.
look at all
I've
the
written
events we
15
go to,
songs.
just have some fun.
Yeah.
I've been rolling around in the dirt and tents and
Yeah.
we've
So
got
I've written 15 songs now, you know,
Oh,
and
that's
just
good.
late in life.
Awesome.
After retirement. That's what I did.
There we go.
That's awesome.
You know, and I will say this, I mean, this is my philosophy for life, but especially for growing old but keeping yourself young.
Yeah. Oh.
Finding a creative purpose it's like, in songwriting, you can do it any age. It's not like, well, I'm too old to, you know, to do whatever. But songwriting is something you can do. But I've always said, I don't care what it is, writing a song, writing poetry, planting a vegetable garden, building a birdhouse, creating something that did not used to be there. That's the most gratifying thing for me, is finishing a song and go, wow, that didn't exist 2 days ago. And now it's here, it's in the universe. And that's to me, it's like, just put it out there, and it feeds your soul. And I think as long as, maybe I've always attributed, maybe that was my mother's secret to, 95 so far, because she stayed, feeding her soul that way. So good for you. Good for you.
Awesome.
Where you get up in the morning, before you think, before you do anything, you sit down with like a pad and a paper and just start writing stream of conscious. Don't try to make a story. Just start, it's like it's like kind of waking up, doing your jumping jacks or your yoga stretches or whatever, and just kind of get those muscles